Hello, my name is Mike, and today I would like to demonstrate how to apply the People Mover Patient Lifting System by Levigait in the cam over configuration to help a patient stand. Mike, you seem like you need a hand up. Do you mind if I help?
Yes.
Alrighty, I'd like to put this behind you. Find the center handle in the back as a reference point. We're going to center that up behind the patient. We'll go down behind the patient, nice and low on the back. We'll bring the excess length around the front. As you can see, this belt is designed for a broad range of patient sizes. We're going to have some excess length, and what we'll do is we'll just take that and fold that excess length back and out of the road until we get about the right size. You're looking for about 4 to 6 inches of space between the handles, and we're a little bit too narrow here, so we'll just fold back a little further. Recenter a little bit. We'll reach through, grab the handles, and as I tighten my hand across, it's going to tighten that belt around him so I've got good patient control. I'm going to block his feet with my foot so that his feet can't slide as we stand up. And as I rock my hand across, you can see that belt tightens up on him just by keeping my wrist straight. Reach around and grab a handle. Position myself with a good straight back for lifting. Mike, are you ready?
Right.
On my count, we're going to stand up. 1, 2, 3. And we have our patient upright. Go ahead and get your feet under you. And you can see we've got good patient control. There's no slack in the system. How'd that feel?
Fine.
Beautiful. In this section, I'd like to demonstrate how to apply the People Mover patient lifting system to a patient in the standard gait belt configuration to give them a little bit of support standing up. Mike, do you mind if I use this to help you stand up? Alrighty, so we're going to select our handle in the back as our reference point to center it up. We'll just slide this behind the patient, taking it down low on their back. We're going to select the handles that we're going to use up front to get things tightened down, and we'll slide the rest of that gait belt out of the road. I'm going to slide that piece back and just fold it along the side of the patient. Unthread this side of the adjusting belt. Fold the excess back on that side. What we'll do is we'll take the adjusting belt on this side, go around the handle on the opposite side of the belt and capture that handle, and then thread right back to the anchor buckle on its starting side. And we'll just tighten that down a little bit to hold things in place. We're going to repeat the process with the belt from the other side. Capture the handle on the opposite side of the belt, bring that back to the anchor strap or anchor buckle, and now we've got two handles that can overlap each other and tighten down. So what we're going to do now is just add a little bit of tension, tighten this around the patient so that we've got a good secure hold. We'll just take those webbings, slide them down to the bottom of the handles so that you've got those handles available for lifting. The excess we're just going to tuck out of the road so we don't have a trip hazard. And the belt is secured around the patient. We're going to just block his feet with my foot, slide a handle up, get a good hold on it. One on each side. Good lifting form with a straight back. On the count of 3, Mike, we're going to stand up. 1, 2, 3. You can see we've got good patient control. It can provide him good support standing. So for this demonstration, I would like to show you how we apply the People Mover patient lifting system in its most secure configuration. We utilize this when we've got a patient that has kind of an odd physiology that changes a lot when they stand up, or when you've got a compromised shoulder girdle and you can't rely on the patient's shoulder girdle for aid in lifting, or you're concerned that they're going to lose the strength in their legs when you stand them up and you expect that you're going to have to give them more vertical support. Mike, is it okay if I put this on you so we can get you stood up?
Yes.
Alrighty, so we're going to find the center reference handle in the back, center that up behind the patient, nice and low on the back, and and we'll bring it around the front. You can see Mike's got a compromised shoulder girdle right now, and we want to be able to lift him without relying on that shoulder strength that he's got. So we're going to take the adjusting buckle on the outside, and we're going to unlace this adjusting belt all the way. We'll take our excess length, fold it out of the way, very gently place it there. We'll take this webbing, we're going to extend our belt out all the way, keeping it flat, and we're going to just slide this up and shimmy it up underneath the patient. You'll notice that I don't have to get into his personal space to do this. So we just work that back as far as we can, pull the excess slack out, and then what we will do is we'll take this adjusting belt from the outside in on the handle. We're going to feed it through that handle, and you can see that I've now built a harness on this side independently, so that he's independently harnessed on that. The reason we go outside in is so that when we get done, these buckles will be out front where they're very convenient. All we do now is we've got a harness built on each side. I'm going to take this buckle, I'm going to feed it to Jay. I'm going to grab Jay's buckle, I'm going to feed it through this handle. You can see that we've now got this thing laced onto him. We've captured the handle on each side, and we just clip the two together. Bringing the buckle outside in makes it so this is all out in front, nice and easy. The neat thing about this is when he stands up and his physiology changes and he gets narrower, this belt is going to self-tighten around him so that it maintains that tension and we don't end up with a bunch of slack in the system. It adjusts for his physiology automatically. Alrighty, so we're ready to lift. We're going to block his feet and get a hold of a handle. And on 3, we're going to stand. On your count, Jay.
1, 2, 3.
And you can see that we've got good patient control. And this thing is holding him up so that if he starts to lose leg strength, we can actually catch and support him until we can get a chair under him or we can set him down gently. So you've got the best patient control and the safest possible lifting configuration. So in this video, I want to show you how we utilize this as a sling to lift a patient off the floor. A lot of times a patient doesn't need a lot of support getting up. They simply can't get off the floor without a little bit of help. And this gives us a viable option to get them up and off the floor safely. In this particular application, we're just going to take the gait belt and lay it, slide it underneath the patient's knees, and we're going to find that center handle and just kind of center it up under them, and we just slide it up underneath their cheeks. And you'll notice we don't have to stand the patient up or lift the patient up in order to get this belt under them. On a patient with a little bit longer physiology, the most you would have to do would be to lift the leg just a little bit and slide that up under a cheek to get it positioned properly. Now when we sit Glenn up, he's going to be seated beautifully on this and it'll be positioned properly. When we lift, we're going to come with an up and forward motion. That's Glenn's natural standing motion. We want to keep things as familiar for him and us as possible so that he feels comfortable. We'll select the handle we want to use. Just drop the excess out of the road. And what we're ready to do now is sit Glenn up. Are you ready, Glenn?
Yeah.
Let's just sit you up on that. We're going to block Glenn's feet to keep him from sliding. I've got my outside hand on the sling, and what I want to do is I want to give Glenn something better to hold on to, and I've got to get good control of his upper body. So I'm going to grab behind his arm, he's going to grab behind mine. Now he's got a good secure feeling, and we're going to come up and forward. On your count, Jay.
1, 2, 3.
Can you get your feet under you?
Yeah.
Do you feel pretty stable?
Yeah.
And that's a sling lift. So in this video, I want to show you how we utilize this as a sling to help lift a patient off the floor when they're down on the floor and they just need a little bit of help up. This has also got the capability of being able to harness it to the patient so that you've got a little better patient control, and that's very handy when you've got a patient that you're not sure that they're going to be able to stand adequately when you get them up, and you want to make sure that they maintain their balance or possibly have to assist them to where they need to go. So we're going to take the belt, we're going to lay it out handles up this time. So the handles go to the top. We're going to find our center reference point buckle, and we're going to put that right about between the knee area. We'll unclip the buckles, and we're going to unlace these straps all the way out. Give ourselves plenty of length. And what we're going to do is we're going to just come over the top of the leg, through that center handle, top to bottom, bottom to top, doesn't really matter. And we'll come right back to the anchor buckle, and we're going to clip it in. And we're going to just leave it loose. Alrighty, then what we'll do is we'll do the same thing as we did before. We're just going to slide this up underneath the patient. Again, the worst thing you'd have to do is be able to lift up a cheek. And what I like to do is let that wrap up and around the patient. I'll stand on it to hold it still, and then I'm going to take all of my slack, pull it out of it, and then we'll just tighten it down. You'll notice that the buckles are upside down in this configuration. It's the only iteration that causes that to be, but I had to make a choice in order to use the good buckles. Once you've done it once or twice, it stays pretty easy to remember. We just take the excess and tuck it out of the road. Now, we don't have to have this thing exceptionally tight in this configuration. You don't have to crank it clear down on somebody, so that gives you a little bit more flexibility. And when we sit him up on this, we're going to be in the same spot. Alrighty, Glenn, let's go ahead and sit you up. We're going to stand you up now, okay? So when he sits up on that, we're going to get a handle on the outside with our outside hand. We're going to transfer to that nice easy grip. We're going to block his feet, and we're going to come up and forward on your count.
1, 2, 3.
And as you can see, when we've got him, if he starts to lose strength or stability, I've got good patient control. I can hold him up. I can keep him from leaning or tipping over side to side. And this provides a little extra measure of safety for that patient that you're concerned is not going to be able to stand and do as well when they get up. So utilization of the sling lift also allows us to maintain the patient's modesty. Typically before, when we had to lift somebody up, it required a lot of very close personal contact with the patient, which some people are uncomfortable with. And as we utilize this as a sling, we can lift Norma off the ground, and we don't have to be worrying about getting too personal with her, and maintains her comfort level. So what we're going to do is just slide that up underneath her. And let's go your way just a touch with it. Center it up. There we go. We're going to do the same thing. Just fold the excess out of the road.
Okay.
And Norma, if you want to just grab the back of my arm. And Jay, on your count.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
And at no time did we have to invade her personal space. This is as close and personal as it gets. So in this scene, I would like to show you how a one rescuer can get into a larger patient, and just utilizing the belt with a cam over grip, move them to the point where we can get more rescuers around him to help him lift up. The nice thing about being able to do this one-handed is I can brace myself off of something surrounding whatever they're wedged against to give myself more stability and strength. I'm going to move him with one hand now. And that's exceptionally easy for me because we're just sliding him along the floor and providing good support for him.